forget about the sale for a second and assume that that will happen if you just do everything else right? And just assume that the sale is an outcome. It's not really a tactic. It's not really something you can do.
Welcome to the Mastering E-commerce Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Eitan Kotter, co-CEO of Vimy. In an era of rising acquisition costs and increased competition, this podcast is dedicated to helping you drive sales, engage customers, and build meaningful communities so you can turn passive visitors into active buyers. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on future content. Now let's get started with the episode. Hello listeners and welcome to another episode of Mastering E-commerce Marketing. Today we're diving deep into the world of retention marketing with a true expert in the space. Our guest today is Jason Donapel, Chief Operating Officer at the Email Experience and a leading strategist in email and SMS marketing. With a track record of generating over $110 million in revenue for e-commerce and digital businesses, Jason specializes in hyper-personalized customer journeys that keep brands connected with their audiences without relying on paid media hamster wheel. Hey, Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ethan, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good here. Jason, before we get started, if you had to pick 3 words that sum up what matters to you most, what these words would be?
So the words would literally be, I don't know. Like,
the 3 words. And you need it requires explanation, right?
Yeah, I feel that for a very long time, I wanted to have the answers, and I wanted to be the person in the room who just knew, right,
Yeah.
who and what's next. And that's what success was to me. That's what I felt like success was. And when I shifted that and kind of turned it upside down, and I tried to put myself, like I actively look to not know what's next and what the answer is. And I try to keep everything open. And that shift has changed everything for me.
Amazing. So that's a state of mind kind of thing, right? Just keeping yourself always in awareness mode, right? Trying to learn new things.
Yeah, even, if I'm doing something for the 1500th time or the 2000th time, I have to say to myself, I don't really know what the outcome, I don't really know, what could come next.
Wow, amazing. So Jason, why retention? Why email and SMS? Well, why you're so passionate about this topic?
So I think at this point I've been doing it for, 15 plus years, somewhere in there. I liked it in the beginning because out of all the channels I was working with, I was a CMO for an e-commerce company. And out of all the channels that I had to manage, it's just the one that people opted in. They told me like, oh, I do want to hear from you. It felt like more of a give and take, two-way relationship. It just didn't feel as transactional as all the others. Oh, I'll show you an ad and you click it and then I need your money. And like it felt like a place where something more could be built, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of one of those areas that probably requires more diving deep and just being more creative, just to think more rather than just putting more dollars into paid ads, right?
Right. I mean, you have the opportunity when you really step back and think about the ascension plan for your customer. And if you're an online business, retention is like that. These owned audience first channels are where that happens. Like there's no world where you're creating a Facebook ad for every stage of a customer journey. It doesn't make any sense, right? But you can do that on email, SMS. You can do that with physical mailers, like with a postcard at a really, meaningful time of a customer journey. So it is the place where relationships live. Like relationships are not built on paid media. I don't think you can.
Yeah. Obviously, you need to have like a diversity of channels that are working well for you as a company, right? To increase your success and obviously valuation. But I also see the definition of retention is just expanding, right, over the years to include more and more. I see you smiling, right? What's retention for you, today in 2025?
I mean, to me, it's really any place where you're building a list that is any place where a customer's opting in or a user's opting in and saying, yep, talk to me here. That's a place where retention marketing can happen. I think of it now as like audience first marketing. Because to me, it really like that's really the crux of it. But retention is now it's email, SMS, WhatsApp, Messenger, physical mailers. It's any place you're able to deliver a message in that way, I guess, in somebody's inbox, in somebody's place. I'm trying to think of there's a way of delivering it that makes it retention.
Yeah. So what are some of the best practices? I mean, what are the services that you provide? today and how this is usually working with brands?
So yeah, I mean, what you really, it's a mindset shift first and foremost. I think that what we have is businesses are largely built now on Facebook ads or maybe Google Shopping ads or whatever TikTok I guess is happening now. But and that experience is somebody clicks on an ad and then they hit my store and then maybe they'll buy, maybe they won't. They'll click on another ad, they'll hit my store, and then we'll just it'll happen or it won't. It's a very binary interactions from one touch point to the next. So what I really try to educate my clients on and talk to my people about really is this: when somebody does hit an ad and then hits one of your digital properties, maybe just forget about the sale for a second and assume that will happen if you just do everything else right? And just assume that the sale is an outcome. It's not really a tactic. It's not really something you can do. So if somebody hits your site and you can provide a way for them to opt in to a channel, email, SMS, whatever it is, and get, not even this 10% off your first order. Again, that's sale. You're still thinking about a sale. We can still see what you're doing. What you need to be doing is actually growing an audience for the sake of growing an audience, because you have something to offer the audience, something unique. What's your value that you're bringing to the relationship? And then the sale will happen. If you have the welcome series in places and you have the touch points mapped up and you have your abandonments and all that good stuff, the sales will come through. You just have to come out. I feel like, yeah, when somebody asks, what are the tactics? Well, how do you make a friend? Like, how do you build a relationship? There's no tactics to it. You show up with the right mindset and you move forward with the right intentions, and then it occurs, I think.
Yeah. So how do you check, what's working for that specific brand? I mean, how do you validate or just making sure that, what can work for this brand? Obviously, it's a lot of experimentation, but, what are some of the important things that you need to look at?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that there's so many metrics that you get hit with, and there's so many I measure two. I have 2 data points that I measure for every brand to see if their retention is successful or not at this stage. And it's the number of messages you're sending out every month. So month over month messages sent. You can look at it per channel too, like how many emails did I send last month versus this month? How many SMS did I send last month versus this month? The reason I track that is because I know that these messages are the highest ROI action that a business owner can take. It just is what it is. Sending out a marketing email, you're averaging, $40 plus for every dollar you spend in email. And then, anywhere from 17 to 20 on every SMS you send, on every dollar you spend on SMS. Like, these are just high ROI channels. Business owners they take a lot. It takes a lot of work to get the messages out and planned and sent. So business owners aren't always able to action it. So that's my number one metric, is literally just, are we sending enough to the audience? Are we keeping it high enough? Like, is it moving? And then the second metric is dollar per messages sent. So these messages sent, how much are they generating on a per message basis? If I sent 1,000 messages in May and then I sent 1,000 more in June, or I sent 2,000 in June, I want to know on a per message basis how much they were worth. And that's going to help me understand how much overall revenue is being generated in the program. And then if you see something happening in one of those metrics, it's very easy to start diving in and say, hold on a second, we sent 20% less SMS messages compared to last month. Why? Was it campaign send? Was it in my automations? Oh, it was in my automations? Okay. Oh, my welcome series was down. Why? Why did my list growth slow? Was my ad failing? Did a landing page? And you're very easily able to dive into get very surgical with your fixes and your deployments and your strategy. But you can also see what's winning and why. Wow, I sent 50% more SMS messages and they were worth more than they were the month before. Why? Oh, my abandoned cart worked. That's right. I added this personalization to it last month to this specific audience. And now, so you're gaining insights from your program when you start measuring this way, and you're not getting overwhelmed by the the stacks of Google Sheets.
Yeah. So you have like piece of data, but you try to dive in, try to figure out what happened in the specific case. And your comment about the volumes, I mean, this is in relation to number of contacts you have in a database, or the business volume, or how do you figure out when it's too much?
So that's exactly that's a great question, because that's one of the values that we bring, right? If we want to create more messages out from your brand, expand your reach, right? Get your voice out there more to your users, and the methods you undertake to get that done really determine what kind of program you have, right? Are you going to send more messages by doing flash sales every day? Okay, that's one business model, and you could do that, and it could work, right? Wayfair could do that forever, and it would work out for them. They have the volume to do it. You could do it by increasing, actively and intentionally increasing list growth. We're just going to focus on driving traffic to landing pages to get opt-ins, and then we're going to monetize through the welcome series. And that's a lever that you can pull now that you're measuring it in this way, right? So what it really does is it puts you in a position to decide, well, what is my business and how the way that I increase my messages out is going to reflect that, right? The way that we like to do it, the way that I like to do it, my favorite way is I know that automated and triggered messages are more valuable than campaigns, just because, an abandoned cart is more valuable than a brook. It just is what it is on a per message basis. So I look for unique opportunities to create new touch points specific to your business. So if you have, this client that we brought on recently that I've been working with has a unique problem where they're sort of running out of Facebook inventory. They've been running ads for so long that audiences are harder to come by for them. So that means their biggest opportunity for growth is to stop subscriber churn. They have an auto bill model, and they can make more money by slowing down that churn than they can by filling it up at this point. That's kind of the place where their business is. So knowing that, we think about how do we increase messages for this business? Well, it's not going to be on the welcome series. That's not the play here. It's not going to work for them. There's a blockage there, but we can create brand new automations all around. Are people logging in to view their subscription? Have people, tried to pause their subscription recently? When's the last time somebody did an add-on to their subscription? By generating and creating brand new automated triggered messages, brand new flows and journeys around these specific on-site actions for that brand, all of a sudden we're sending more messages per month, right? Like those automations didn't exist. So those messages weren't being sent. Now we're plugging that hole. The messages are being sent. And by the way, they happen to be very, very valuable messages for the brand. So they're raising we're sending messages and we're raising that value per message out. So when we look month over month at how this brand is doing, or year over year or whatever, it's very clear to say, wow, look, that tactic worked. Look at those new touch points that we manufacture for the brand. They generated X amount of revenue on top of what was already existing. And then I know it's a little long-winded, but the benefit that I really like about it is that, the messages we send today, by definition, are not as valuable as the messages we can send next month, because we don't know what we can know. So we also bake in data collection to everything we do, right? If you're sending a message and it's generating dollars, that's great, but it also has to tell you how to improve that dollar generation next time. So if have automations around decreasing churn for a subscription model, there needs to be personalization. There needs to be data gathering. There needs to be mechanisms within that to say, next month we're going to do this with it to make it better. Or, we actually have 3 different types of users in this journey. Let's personalize to each of them. We have, or whatever it is. So, the structure of the messages are just as important as the messages themselves.
Yes. So it's definitely personalized to multiple avatars. It's definitely triggered by behaviors, right? And that's and it's fully automated, correct? And there is no any personalization, even just typing an email, right? It's 100% automated, correct?
I mean, look, in an ideal program, you're able to automate the pieces you want to automate, and then you're able to manual, because some of your segments and some of your users, you really do want you want to be in there sending a broadcast. So what you really want is the flexibility to do it, but you absolutely want your customer journey, automated touch points, triggered messages to back them up, generating revenue and collecting data from them for sure. I mean, a welcome message, think about a welcome series in an SMS that just says, here's your 10% discount, go nuts, and then sends them back to the store. That's one thing. And it'll generate whatever, 15x or something. It'll do, because that's a great channel. That same message with a little 2-way interaction saying, here's your 10% off. Hey, by the way, respond 1 if you're looking for this, and 2 if you're looking for, respond 1 if you're looking for hair care, 2 if you need, beard care, 3 if you're looking for skin care. And all of a sudden somebody says, oh, it's skin care. Okay, well, I learned that this is a skincare user, so my abandoned cart will be better, right? Because I can customized to their need, right? They're here for that solution.
Yeah.
Um, and I can move them to a skincare specific collection page with that 10% discount and go from a 15x to a 25, 30x just by a little bit more effort, right?
Yes. Very interesting. And in terms of the services that you provide, the email experience, is it kind of a done for you service, or is it just hand holding or consulting type of
Oh yeah, there's done for you where the team, there's designers on staff and copywriters and strategists, and so there's a team for a white glove service where it's all implemented right in if you're using Klaviyo or Attentive or whatever it is, we just use those platforms.
Yeah.
And there's also there's consulting as well. If you have a full team and you're just looking for training to say how do we think about retention differently? How do we think about these audience first channels differently and make our team into specialists? There's consulting arms as well. There's services out there. We just want to make messages better, right? We're stuck in a pattern where everybody's sending the same templates, and we need to move forward as in this space, right? We have to step up our game completely.
So what has changed during the last year in terms of email, SMS?
I mean, so there's been the AI shakeup. There's been a big deliverability shakeup with Gmail, Yahoo. We're going to continue to see that stuff. It's just kind of par for the course. I think what we're seeing now is that all the data that's been gathered, which we couldn't do much with, now with the addition of AI, it's actually actionable. So I'm hopeful that we're finally going to see the level of personalization that we've been talking about for like 10 years. We've been collecting data first, and then we realized, we can't actually use it because nobody has time to write 40 emails, right? To personalize it. But now we have some tools that can help that. So I'm really hoping that we see, an improvement across messaging platforms for the users, for the people who are getting these messages.
What are your insights or findings regarding deliverability? Is it, the way you write those emails, it's the content, creative? I mean, what's impacting deliverability today?
First of all, it's the most important part of your program, right? So if you don't get it right, nothing else really matters. So you should start there, right? There's a couple ways to think about it. There's the back end kind of technical stuff, where, making sure you're on your own sending domain. Ideally, if you could have control of your sending IP, if you have a program like a platform like Attentive, which will help you set up your own IPs and you're not on shared IPs like on some of the others, like that's something that we're seeing more and more of, and we definitely want to lean into, because you have to be able to control where your message is landing. And then getting down to how you're sending, right? Thinking about it like the point of deliverability, that you take a step back, and the whole reason deliverability exists, because it's a pain in the ass, by the way, for Google to do it. Like it's not like they have to maintain an infrastructure, right, for deliverability. And the reason they do it is to protect their customers, the inbox holders, from senders, like who don't respect them. First of all, if we were all just cool, man, we wouldn't need deliverability, but that's over. We already didn't do it. So now what you have to understand is that it's really just Gmail trying to protect their users and bring them a better experience in their product, which is the inbox, right? So the best way is to just do the right thing. Send to users who are engaging in with your content, and clean out your list, and don't send to people who are not. Just let them go, right? Find a better way. Gmail's looking at stuff like this. Oh, this guy sends 100 emails a day and nobody clicks or opens them. These are low value emails. I'm going to protect my users from them. Like, it's a very logical progression. It makes perfect sense. So if you're in spam, it's probably because you're not following the protocols, right? So clean your list, make sure you're sending to more engaged groups. Image to text ratio is important. So don't just send full image emails. Like they don't render well on mobile, and they're not good for inboxing, right? Like, I would take a plain text all day. And then, the sending the infrastructure stuff, look at your IPs and your domains and try to get your DMARC set up. And that's a lot of research and kind of techie, but it's important.
Yeah, there's definitely a kind of a technical foundation for everything, just making sure the structure is there. It's configured correctly. So it's the foundation for everything, right? Let's talk about list growth. And what are some of the most effective strategies for brands today to grow their email and SMS list organically?
So what I want to start doing first is understanding what's already working for the brand, because if you're here, you have momentum somewhere, right? There's something that's working. Whether so, list growth just yeah. If you're starting from scratch, it's one thing, but if you have any type of sales happening in your business, there's a place for list growth to happen. So the first exercise is going through your customer journey as it is right now and trying to decide like where could a sign up add value? Like where does it add value to the customer, right? Not to me. Um, so if somebody clicks an ad for like, so we're working with a place that does like paints for like for cars. So you can like spray your car in the automotive booth and things. You can do full car sprays. So if you click on an ad and then you land on their site, our pop-up will come up after a certain amount of time, like how much time you spent on the page. And it'll basically ask how long have you been painting for. And that's the opt-in. Hey, how long have you been painting for? I want to get you better information. We're not discounting. We're not. And then it literally says no BS, no spam, just tips. And then you select if you're brand new, less than a year, if you're expert in the booth, or if you're somewhere in the middle. And that is a place where that's list growth and it happens. They give us their email, their SMS, and then we build a series just for them. Oh, you're a beginner? Great. Here's where you start, beginner. Oh, you're an expert? Cool. What do you like? Here's some more in-depth content. And it just moves the conversation along. We've picked up a crucial piece of information that helps us in our later, abandonments, whatever happens. Like we can talk to a beginner, give tips for a beginner versus an expert. In that case, we actually used it to get people into our Facebook group a little more effectively. For beginners, we said, oh, it's a great place to learn from experts, to get your questions answered, share projects with other beginners, things like that. And then in the experts message, we said it's a great place to talk to other experts. So we set it up differently. We didn't want experts thinking that they were going to go into a place full of beginners, that they were going to have to work there. We didn't want beginners thinking they were in a place with only experts that didn't want to talk to them. And, that little piece of data gathering kind of brings it all together. So it's really an exercise in understanding what's happening in your brand now and where are your users pooling? Like where are these digital, is it a VSL you have going? Are there blog pages you have that just have like some organic juice because they've been around so long? Throw an embedded form on it, throw something on there and just say like, I want to give you more, help me, and that it'll work. It'll work for your brand and you'll start there.
Yeah. So you mentioned like Facebook group or building a kind of a community. What are some of the, lead magnets that are working today? I mean, it's like content, it's ebooks, whatever courses, or what do you think it's relevant, in 2025?
So it all kind of works. It really depends on what outcome you're looking for your list, because there's all sorts of different lists. So when I'm thinking of offers, like specific offers to put on one of these, hey, give me your information modules or widgets, I think through, it's really a spectrum. On the more aggressive ends where you're getting these like spin to wins and these, hey, like get, whatever, 50% off your first order when you sign up today. I think that's fine because if it's fine if you just want velocity and you want to grow the fastest list possible, right? So the example I walk my clients through is like, if you said, I'm going to give away a free iPad to every subscriber today, you'll go viral and you'll build a list. Like it'll be nuts, right? And then you won't sell anything because the list is, it is what it is, right? Like whatever you're going to do with it, you better have a plan for that list. Like you have to figure it out.
We need to capture the right audience as well.
Yeah, exactly. But if you were to go to that same audience, right, that came to your page and you said, hey, everybody that signs up today is going to get like a personal video from me talking about why I founded the brand, you'll get a much, much smaller list, but that 5 people on that list are just hardcore. They're going to buy what you're selling and they're in. So it's really about finding the middle ground, right? Like there's a place where free shipping with your next order works. Like there's certainly a place for it if that's the kind of business you're trying to run. Mm-hmm. If you're running like a really high end like fashion brand with a perceived, like not a barrier to entry, but it's an elevated brand, maybe you do just say, sign up today and get a personal look at our manufacturing process, a behind the scenes look at how we make our bags. And people, that might be enough for your brand if that's the kind of brand you're building. So I really want to, there's no template that's going to work for your business. You have to understand that what you put on these offers and on these modules and widgets, they form who you are. They're they're forming what you're getting. So you want that Wheelio list of discount shoppers who don't really care about your brand. You can knock it out and go nuts and build whatever, get your 80,000 people in a month. And that's awesome. And do whatever. But you have to find the happy medium.
Yes, for sure, fully agree, right? I mean, again, try to define who you are, who are your ICP persona, and try to capture those and build. It doesn't have to be a huge community, right? But it's a community that is like loyal fans, and this is working so well for retention. Jason, I wanted to ask you about email versus SMS. Is it something to start, from the get-go together, or you usually start with emails and then follow up with SMS? So how do you approach those two channels?
Yeah, I love, so SMS has become so powerful. It's great. It's instant. It's such a fast response, right? You just get it. When I'm thinking of deploying campaigns or automations or messages in general, I think about messages first. So I would encourage everybody, think about the goal of your message first. Hey, I want to show people my new loyalty program. I want to lay out the benefits of it. I want to talk, get them excited and tell them it's launching in a week. That's why I'm sending out this message today. Great. Now we understand. How do I want to send it? Okay, I'm going to send it email. I'm going to send it SMS, and that's where you need to shift. An email or an SMS doesn't really exist. Like what we have are messages, and then they're just being deployed through the best channel for them. SMS is more expensive. It is just you're paying per send. So you want to try to target. You want to be selective with who gets them. People who have a history of interacting with SMS messages, right? So you have engaged groups of people who are clicking and who are generating revenue off of SMS. And then you could use it as like a retargeting tool, right? So in the loyalty program launch I just talked about, maybe you send out the email and then, 12 hours later, you send out an SMS to people who didn't view the email or didn't open the email.
Yeah.
What you want to do over a longer term, though, is start to understand this channel affinity. And then what you'll find out is like, hey, man, whenever I send out an email, Ethan doesn't open it, but he interacts with my SMSs. So I'm not going to bother with emails to him anymore. I'm just going to send him the important stuff via SMS. And then you start to grow this list of these are SMS people, these are email people, these are both. Some people are both. And those are, by the way, going to be your most valuable. We've tested that a bunch. Those are all going to be your most valuable people that interact with both channels. So you should always be, just side note, pro tip, always be trying to get people on multiple channels, right? If you opted them in through email and they didn't join your SMS on that first touch point, send messages. Hey, join our SMS today. Like get them on both. They're always going to be the most valuable. Yeah, I hope that answered the question. Got lost there.
It's a great answers and an amazing tips. Jason, it seems that you're very, very experienced in what you do and have been doing this for quite a while. What do you think are the things that worked for you in your business, throughout the years?
For the e-commerce businesses or for the agency? For the e-commerce businesses?
No, for the agency.
Oh, for the agency. I think it's really just been adapting and wanting things to be different. Like I think it really has just been this level of like not knowing that email was not good enough. And what we were doing was not good enough back when we were kind of reliant on split testing and things because that's what we had. Just knowing that it wasn't the best way and like just needing to get to what's the better way. So now we're personalization because it creates more predictable wins, right? We're not living by the win or loss of a test anymore. We're saying, no, we're going to personalize your abandoned cart and it's going to make things more valuable. And that is what it is. And I think that, as AI, we're just going to continue to adapt and try to we just know that what we're doing now isn't good enough. Like, and then, because there's always going to be a better version, right? So I think that's really what drives it. It's also what drives my wife crazy because I just never sit down and just shut up and hang out. But I think that it's, it keeps things exciting. Like just being excited about email every day, even after 15 plus years of doing it, I think is really what's made it successful for me.
Yeah, because obviously you talk to customers, they're evaluating other agencies. And so what you've mentioned, obviously professionalism and experience, but also that energy, right, and passion for the topic just probably makes a difference, right?
Yeah. Look, when a customer talks to me, like when a potential client talks to me, I don't worry about that, honestly. It's the way that I approach retention for my clients. Like if I do all the right things and I show up and I am the best I can be, then everything else I just assume will fall into place. So yeah, when a client or a potential client talks to me, they know that they're not talking to somebody who's like selling an email product, right? Like, this is my life's work and this is what I'm going to be doing and this is what I'm going to do next. And it's going to be better than it was this month or next, whatever. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of becoming an extension of the team. So there is a trust factor here. There needs to have the right relationship in place, right? Something that you built probably through other discovery calls.
Yeah. And a place where, we're not order takers, right? We can't come into a relationship and just be satisfied with the status quo. I think brands like us because we come in and we help break up a lot of legacy kind of, we've always just done it this way type of mindsets. Now a lot of that has to happen and we help to break through a lot of that.
Sure. So Jason, how people can find you and the email experience?
Oh, you go to jasondonapel.com. Everything's there. My blog is there where I put up articles about SMS and email. And I did a bunch of stuff just about triggered messages last week. So check it out. And yeah, that's it. jasondonapel.com. Find me.
Okay, great. Jason, anything else you want to add?
No, dude, I think we nailed it. Thank you so much for the time. I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, dude, it's so great to record again.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for your time and insight. I learned a lot. Wish you all the best.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the end of this episode. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe so you won't miss any of our future content. And if you could share this with just one person, it would make all the difference. Are you looking to accelerate your sales with the power of shoppable video? Explore Vimeo, the video commerce platform that includes live shopping, shoppable video, and social commerce capabilities. Visit Vimeo at www.vimeo.net, that's VIMMI.net, where you can start with a free for life package. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more valuable insights in our next episode.